Darius McCrary, and we got his son Zach McCrary. Darius, man, I've been trying to get you for a while now, man. For a while. We finally made it happen though, man. Finally made it happen. What you been up to, man?
Man, I'm just hitting, gliding, sliding, hitting corners and blazing trails still. Man, we don't do it for us. I'm dadding. A lot of folks don't get to see that side of me, but it's probably one of the most important things that a man could ever do. The reason I said probably is because you have to be able to take care of the entire family, and so you can't just dad. You got to make sure that that the entire family is okay, because we as men we're supposed to be the protectors, and unfortunately, in this era that we're in, we're seeing a lot of the family structure obviously and blatantly dismantled. And so there's a lot of pushing aside of a patriarch. This country is no question. They've split our families up through slavery for years, and through the penal system, the jail systems. They've taken
Welfare.
Oof. That's what they do. A lot of the laws today that govern this country, are rooted in slavery.
That's real talk. But yeah, man, it's dope to see you and your son, man. Because I know you be seeing all the narratives that be being pushed online that, you're a deadbeat, you're not in your son's life. So, to see both of y'all here, man, that pretty much kills a lot of them narratives that people be pushing. So, I'm happy to see it, man.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. I don't get it, And then it's so funny because, these white folks are a trip. They got these little corny jokes they write, like, "Hey, this is Darius, and obviously family doesn't matter to him." It's like, you don't know me, and you don't know my story. You don't know my son's story. The fact of the matter is that I had my son when he was 6 months years old, from 6 months to 7 years old, and then he went to live with his mother for a time, and that was probably one of the biggest mistakes that I made. I'm sorry, son. I'm just gonna, keeping it real, because I wanted her in his life. I wasn't trying to just take him and be like, I wasn't trying to do that. But that's what she did to me, and she was able to use the system, and it's been a long battle. I've had to be real patient and real strong. And so he did too, and we here. So he's 18 years old now, and he's hanging with his dad.
Yes, sir.
So, what was the deal with that situation? Because I remember they had footage online of you in court. And me personally, I ain't like that, how they were showing you in court. And they were saying that you owe over 75K.
Nah, thank you, bro. And it's just so deep to me how. First off, let me say this: all of our heroes have been torn down. Have you noticed the trend? Everybody that we've grown up with, everybody is facing something in the public, some type of way through media. They're being torn down one way or another. And it just really is disturbing because, not to make this a race or color thing, but to just be fully transparent, there are a lot of other people who do a lot worse. Could you
they still got them Confederate statues up.
They really do, son. That's a trip. They got the Confederate statues up. Wow. And he's 18 and he's saying it. Could you imagine if Epstein was black? Come on, let's just start.
I don't have to imagine. Look what they did to Diddy.
Look what they did to Diddy. And this is coming from the youth. But to answer your question, for all the ignorant people who don't do their research, because I feel like you can't speak on anything if you don't do the research. I didn't go to jail for child support. I went to jail for a failure to appear, which I didn't get a proper service for the court date. I didn't even know there was a court date. You all should know that the court system is probably one of the most crooked, unscrupulous, unethical systems that you will ever experience. They make it seem like they're here to be your friend. They're not your friend. They're not. And what we really need to do is go back to being able to handle our business outside of court. We really need to be able to police ourselves. We need to go back to community, back to family, and we really need to handle our business. That's real Family Matters. And it was just really unfortunate the way that this played out. but I feel like it was necessary because this stuff needs to come to a head. I mean, and so I feel that by it happening to me, people were involved, you know, because you felt like it was happening to somebody who was a family member, and you know, it didn't have to go down that way.
Definitely not. So everything is good with you in the child support situation. Because I seen somewhere online where they said that she was waiting to get sentenced. So that's not true.
No, they're not trying to give me time right now. However, it's still it's unscrupulously handled. The
Delayed sentencing, right?
Well, yeah, it's something called delayed sentencing, and they put this deal together. My right to due process was violated. There's jurisdictional issues. There's several issues with this case, and the problem is in Oakland County where this took place, which I never lived there. They've been so accustomed to just doing dirty business, and there are a lot of bodies that are buried. And my issue is not about what you did to me; it's what you did to my son. What I was arguing was the way that things were handled as far as custody was concerned. There was what do they call DTFS, son? The Child Protective Services, CPS. They let my son down. The system failed my son, and so they kept coming up with these crazy numbers. And I just want to know, where you get these numbers from? It blows my mind. Celebrity is probably one of the most dangerous double-edged swords that you can have, because just because you see me on TV at a certain period in time doesn't mean that I'm still making that money. Now, if I'm smart with my money and I know how to live, then okay, that's a different story. But if you don't see me working, 9 times out of 10, I'm not getting a check. And that's just real. So you can't charge me Family Matters prices when Family Matters been off the air for 25 years. What the f is wrong with you? you going back, you know? I mean, and in fact, I was talking to another actor, and it was a trip. I was saying how, you know, we get the union is called Screen Actors Guild, and SAG has insurance, great insurance, by the way. He had SAG insurance pretty much his whole life, which is welfare fraud. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna get into that. I'm sorry. But anyway, I was doing a lot of independent projects. You know, there's a few. You guys probably see like something like 35 and Ticking is an independent project for the viewers. It means that independent funding was put together. It wasn't done by a studio. It probably was released through this distribution company that had distribution, but it was independently put together. So you give different prices to an independent filmmaker than you would give to somebody that's doing a studio film. Mm-hmm. And they Screen Actors Guild really got on me about doing these independent projects. And there was a time where my health insurance was in jeopardy. And they offered the alternative, which is something called Cobra, which costs $2,000 a month. Well, if I'm doing independent projects, obviously I have bills to pay. So how am I supposed to afford $2,000 a month? Make it make sense, people.
So they was trying to come after your health insurance?
Well, you know, you got to take care of the kids. So the kids have to be under an umbrella, or that's when the mother goes and gets the state aid if she needs it. But if you don't need state aid and you get it, that's illegal. Say it with me, boys and girls. If you get state aid and you don't need it, that's illegal. That's the word of the day. Illegal. The next word of the day is unlawful. Them people in them courts do a bunch of unlawful things, boys and girls. They breaks the law too. You know what? I stand corrected. They weren't going after the Family Matters payday, because that would have been crazy. They were going after the Young and the Restless payday. That's what happened. They saw me on Young and the Restless, and they was like, wow, we got it now. It was... The thing is that they are hearing me out now, but they're not. My son wrote a letter, which I did not coerce him into doing. In fact, son, I don't even ask you to come to the court dates. I mean, really, I mean, we talk about it, but
Yeah, I mean, there was even a couple of dates you told me not to come to.
you know, he wrote a letter and the judge wouldn't even read his letter. And this is a judge who reads every letter put in front of him. Once I finally did get an attorney, because I was representing myself, because I've learned a great deal about this. I mean, you could hear me talking about it. I've learned a great deal about it. And I mean, in fact, there's issues, jurisdictional issues with the judge's signature. You're not supposed to have a judge sign a document that's signed by a deputy clerk. That voids everything. That voids everything. Right? I mean, so we have some serious issues with this case. And I'm just not gonna lay down, you know, because it's about my son. It's not about what you did to me. What if something would have happened, God forbid, in jail? You know, it's kind of. I'm not gonna say jail is cool, boys and girls. Jail is not good. We don't want to go to jail, okay? But if you should go to jail, make friends with the Hells Angels. They're good people. Yeah. Luckily for me, you know, I make sure that I lead with authenticity no matter what I do. And that's just who I am. And so going to jail was something that I was able to endure because this is all God's plan for whatever reason. And God is going to build you the way that you need to be built to complete the assignment. And so the assignment was for me to be there for my kids. And I'm not letting anybody take me off of that square, no matter what. I'm not gonna lie, man. There was a few times going through this where they really had me. I really didn't know how I was gonna do this, you know. But I just truly believe that this is something that we need to deal with in this country. There's a $1 trillion class action lawsuit against child support right now that's brewing. Not $1 billion. I mean, we're big business, and Black people have been big business in this country for centuries. I mean,
You see it all the time. It's a whole culture of women that prey on rich men for child support. So it's a whole thing, and it's really messed up because like that's a child. That's your child, you know.
And this was my thing. My main thing has always been put the child first. When your hatred for your co-parent outweighs your love for your child, you have a serious issue. It's a disorder. And so I don't know. I feel like most of most women today, you know, especially today, because we get things so instant. I mean, you know, you can send money through Cash App, you can Zelle, it's just instant. You know, it's like you don't even need an ATM card anymore. You know, they're looking for a quick fix. You know, they don't want someone who will correct them or guide them. They're not looking for that. You're not my daddy. You're right, I'm not. I'm not trying to be. Well, maybe sometimes, but no, not right now. You know, you know.
Weren't you talking to kids?
No, kids ain't watching art. This is the art of dialogue. Boys and girls, listen. But my thing was it was always about my son, and so God forbid something happened to me in jail. They extradited me like I was a drug dealer, bro. Like I'm sitting here looking at this like there are real people who are really committing violent crimes. Matter of fact, that we talk about this. There was a guy who has an E in his last name, Darius McCrary. The man actually killed his children's mother and the kids.
Oh, because he killed the kid? You ain't telling me that.
Yeah, he killed the kids, son.
That's messed up.
I mean, he was like, I mean, I guess he didn't want to deal with. He was, I don't know. I'm not even gonna try to process that thought because I didn't do it. But it was so bad, Art, that when I checked into jail in Michigan, because I'm not gonna say Detroit, because I rock with y'all, Detroit. But that Oakland County is all bad, and we really need to figure out how to come together to really just call it out. It's time to really shine the light on certain things. But I'm in jail, and they said, "What are your past felonies?" I said, "I don't have any past felonies." They said, "What are your crimes that you commit?" I said, "I don't have any." They said, "Even the murder?" I said, "I didn't commit a murder." Because the last time that I was in jail, because this has happened to me twice, they actually posted my bail to this guy. And why this guy committed a murder and is still in jail? Jail is prison time. That's unlawful detainment. Why is this man in jail when he killed his baby mama and
however many kids?
And however many kids? It's so much. It's just so much to unpack here, man. It really is. And my issue is not what you did to me. It's how it affected my son. Then also, what about all the other children and families who don't have this platform, who can't sit and talk about it and get the story out? Son, I'm gonna ask you this. I mean, in your words, how do you feel about the situation, seeing it and knowing what it is?
It just ain't right, like nobody's perfect. But to be vindictive and point fingers and use your own opinion of somebody as a reason to not have them around their child. I mean, it's not like he was, like abusive or, anything like that. But it was my mother's own personal opinion of my dad, which is it's separate from me. I don't have anything to do with. Well, I kind of have something to do with that, but yeah, it's just not right to point fingers, especially when he's my father. Like I think that as long as people are willing to work towards being better, who am I to say that? Who am I to judge you? You know what I mean? Like nobody's perfect.
What blew my mind though was my son was in Montessori school. He was 5 years old, reading at a 10th grade level in my care. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, how do you, like, not want your child to succeed? And the only way I know to be a man is you got to see a man. That's the problem with a lot of these youngsters running around today.
You learn by example.
Is you learn by example. And they don't have examples because the example was taken from them. And we really need to figure that out,
It creates like a whole level of dissonance when your parents are telling you one thing and then going and doing another. Even little things like, oh, don't swear, but then you see your parents swearing all the time. It's like, well, what do I do with that? Because you're breaking the same rules that you put for me.
I don't tell you not to swear though.
I know. A lot of parents do that. I'm just using a broad example.
I'm saying this, what I love about our relationship is my son knows me. I mean, I was just on the phone with a lovely young lady who will remain nameless. But we were talking and she was like it's just so cool how your son knows you, and that's important to me. I mean, I feel like I was talking with Alex Thomas, and we were just saying how, what's up, AT? Yes, sir.
Black Dad's Club.
Black Dad's Club. Yeah.
That's really only two of y'all.
That's by design, son. No, but we were saying how important it is for you to really be able to be open with your kids and give them the real.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like a lot of parents, like my son just said, have done their children a disservice by not giving them the real. I mean, I think, especially in our community, we don't know what's out there, so we don't know how to handle it. And the worst enemy that you could ever face is an enemy that you're unaware of. or an enemy that you believe is non-existent. The coldest trick the devil ever pulled was making people feel or believe he didn't exist.
But what I would say is this though, I'm happy we doing this interview with you and your son because now you got a reference point. So when they try to say that you're not in your son's life, now you can pull up this interview.
They've had other reference points like this.
Oh, for real?
I mean, like you said, I wrote them a letter, like they've had other reference points.
And this wasn't even a character like my dad is this great man. It wasn't even like it was like about what he's gone through, what he's going through, like why, and it correlated with everything that I have been saying to them, the reasons why it was important.
I don't even think I talked about you once in that letter.
That's my point.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, it's crazy how. I mean, they keep bringing TMZ in the court.
It's pride at the end of the day, like they've invested so much into it to backtrack. I was wrong. That's hard for a lot of people.
Yeah, son, but they do it with a lot of stuff.
I know.
They do it. I mean, this woman, this Sarah Brenner, this prosecutor actually walked out of the court and apologized to my son.
No,
and
she didn't apologize.
What'd
She said good luck.
She said good luck.
For real, she was like, it's just the job, which I get, but also like I don't.
Well, part of the issue was when I was representing myself, I had to remember these people get up every morning and their feet hit the ground to figure out whose lives they can destroy.
Oh, for sure. I mean, people told me all the time like I should be a lawyer, and like it just never made sense to me because it's like either I'm gonna have to be a prosecutor and put away people that I know are innocent, or be a defendant and help people that I know are guilty. I can't do that.
It's probably arguably one of the most devilish things that I've ever seen. I mean, the Bible says that Satan goes through this earth seeking to and fro, seeking whom he may devour.
No, he be sober-minded. The devil, the enemy, prowls around like a lion seeking those to devour.
Well, that's the amplified version. Right?
Yeah, he prowls around like a lion.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's the translation. Yes, you're right. That's the young people's version.
Oh.
I was taught by, yes, you're right. That's right. He's like a lion seeking whom he may devour. That's what this is. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what this is. And the best thing to do is to wear a condom. But
I don't know, man. That's a lot of microplastics.
Well, that's true. It's very true too.
The best contraceptive is abstinence.
Abstinence. See, and this is why I feel good, because I'm like, okay, it didn't go awry, because it really could have went another way, and that was my biggest concern. You got to be careful who you're dealing with. You really do. You don't know that people wear a cold mask. And like I said, I'm not completely innocent. I learned that you can't put the deluxe package down every time that you with a lovely young lady. Sometimes you got to hold back. Like when you say just the tip, you got to just the tip.
Not even the tip.
Not even the tip.
Not even the tip.
No,
not even that. Like there's a reason God tells us to wait for marriage. There's a plethora of reasons.
No, hold on, okay? Because I've been married a few times.
Yeah.
So
just stick to the fellatio, yo.
Fellatio, that's it. But I'm gonna say this. I'm so yes, that part that'll keep you safe, right? Because that's really all. That's kind of abstinent. That's kind of like I mean, I bet you Jesus got a lot of fellatio. I bet you he did. You're not gonna tell me that they wasn't giving up that head for salvation back then without no cell phones and all that stuff. You know. Tell me. You have to worry about no social media.
That's my savior, man. Don't talk about my man's like that.
Jesus was a real one. He tore up that temple.
He was a real one. He definitely wasn't getting no head.
We don't know, son. We don't know.
How could he have been on the cross if he was out fornicating?
That's not fornicating.
No, it is fornicating. He said if you even look at a woman with lust in your heart, you've committed adultery.
Well, I'm going to hell then, because I saw about 12 of them today. I looked at that was just bad. I was looking at one on Instagram. She's actually funny and bad, and I was looking at her laughing and lusting.
Thanks be to Jesus Christ.
Praise the Lord. Lord, forgive me.
At the very minimum, he had to think about it.
No.
Getting fellatio. Come on. You don't think it never crossed his mind?
Maybe it crossed his mind, but he definitely for sure didn't have lust in his heart.
He had a hoe in his camp. he had a real live hoe, and he saved her. He did, but once a hoe, always a hoe. It's a hoe. I mean, you can't.
How you gonna say he saved her and then say once a hoe, always a hoe? You cannot
make a hoe a housewife.
Both things. He wasn't trying to make her. That wasn't his housewife. He was not concerned with things of this world. He was not concerned with things of this world. He was concerned about bringing about the kingdom of God.
Okay,
that was his main concern.
I'm just saying, I had a few hoes that I saved.
You're not Jesus.
I'm not. Don't save her. She don't want to be saved. Don't save her. I'm just saying. I'm saying, Mary Magdalene, he kept her around for a reason. She was washing Jesus' feet. I'm getting my feet washed, and I'm sitting here like this, right?
That was a different Mary.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
Different Mary.
I'm just saying.
There's a lot of Marys.
I feel like there's a lot that we need to wake up.
For sure.
I mean, like we really
For sure.
do.
Heresy isn't one of them, though.
No, but I'm gonna tell you this, and I say this, and we was talking about this earlier. I feel like the churches let us down, and not the men of God, not the men, because they're just men. They're just men. I don't care what Bishop did. I don't care. I don't care about that, because I'm supposed to have my own line to God. So I'm not supposed to be looking to him to get me to God. What you gonna do when you get this? This ain't no damn club when you get to heaven, which is a whole nother thing that we another discussion. Hey, look, hold on, St. Peter. Is Bishop here? Because you know what I'm saying, I'm on the list, but I'm with Bishop, so Bishop gonna get me in. No, you get there, God is judging you when it's over.
The only way that you're getting into heaven is through Jesus. He's the only priest, the only bishop that we should be looking.
Okay, I don't want to get into this now, because I don't know, because I got a lot of fans. It's a rare condition this day and age to read any newspaper on a newspaper page. Assalamu alaikum, alaikum assalam. I'm a mensch, and you know, speak a bit of Yiddish. Love you. Praise the Lord, saints. Boys and girls, the United Nations everywhere must come together to make a better way. We got to do better as humans. We got to all live together, and we got to do better.
Sure.
We really do. Like this is really crazy where we are right now. It's disgusting. It's been going on too long. And I mean, these courts, we were over somewhere today. There's a notorious police station. There's a division in Los Angeles that's historic. When I say the name, you're gonna know it. And you from Houston. Have you ever heard of the Rampart Division? Okay, Rampart. I was showing Zach today. I said, son, this is the Rampart Division. I said, this is, you know the Rampart, right? Right? Do you know that they reopened Rampart and made it the LAPD Divisions Center?
Nah, I didn't know that. For real?
Bro.
We just saw it today.
Bro, I'm blown,
he was like, they closed it down. It said LAPD on the building.
He said, Dad, I'm pretty sure that said LAPD on the building. I mean, like the fact that, and I said, son, I get it that they reopened it, but I thought they would have made it a youth center or something. Like, take it and repurpose it and do something to make it better.
Especially after training day.
Bro, that's what that's the whole training day was about, the Rampart Division. Low key, but high key.
Type.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, I don't get it. I know you have to have a bit of dirt to have something to put in the washing machine. But I mean, do we just gotta just fuck up everything?
I mean, and I say this all the time. Every problem in society, it just comes from humanity abandoning God and thinking we know better, because we don't. We don't. And
no, we don't. But son, let's be for real. Everybody is not gonna walk around in that consciousness.
No, they're not.
So there has to be some type of moral compass that I mean, like this prosecutor. I'm calling her a lovely young lady. Because I really want to use another word. You know, I got some really up role models who taught me some very interesting things. And the way that I used to hear a lot of them talk, you know, it's in me. It's not on me. But, you know, I articulate and I present very well. So we're going to call her a lovely young lady.
That's a really convoluted way to call her a mean name.
Well, I mean,
I'm
isn't
pulling
she
your.
lovely? In her mind. Isn't she wonderful? In her brain. She doesn't see herself that way. I mean, the fact that she would walk away after knowing what this 11-year battle could have possibly done to you, the note that she tried to keep out of court. Because first off, let's say this. When you go to court, what do you do in court? You play a game. So there's a game being played with our life. The word bench that the judge sits on is Latin for bank. So whoever got the money is going to win in court. That's all. That's what it's about. And they're incentivized to put you through whatever you're going through. My point is, it's not about the money; it's the principle. And so the fact that my son could have overdosed, that my son could have lost his life at any moment, then what are we talking about? The fact that I could have lost my life.
There wouldn't have been a talk, realistically. Like, I mean, it's messed up, but like they don't care.
You're right, they don't, because then if something terrible or catastrophic would have happened to my son, then I would have been Darius McCrary in jail for fucking murder. I mean, then and so they wouldn't have cared because they would have still benefited from that, one way or another.
Let me ask you about Superhead. How did that come about, y'all relationship?
I mean, I'm gonna be for real, man. I address her as Corinne. Number one, I really don't like to speak on her because they've meta tagged us together forever. Man, I think that was something that she got into that she just couldn't shake. Unfortunately, sometimes, especially in Hollywood, we do things. Whether it's going over somebody's house to visit their family for a dinner because they're an executive. I mean, I'm gonna be for real. I haven't really experienced too much of this, but I've heard that, I mean, some guys they can't take care of their wives, and so they need, some help. And so and sometimes you might see somebody who's on the screen because their wife has an affinity for them. I mean,
so eloquent.
I'm just saying, we're talking about, lovely young ladies here. But back to Corinne, I think that she got into a situation, and I'm not from the front. She loved doing what she did. I mean, thank God, that she did love it. I benefited from her love of doing what she did, and I'm happy God gave her a skill, But she was a regular chick, man, who really, once again, wanted a husband. She really wanted to. I mean, Zach knew her. I mean, that was his stepmom. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really remember that time much.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying we had a home. We had a home. We were, and so that's how I look at her. That's how I view her. I don't look at it like that. I'm not a judgy kind of dude. I'm a bit more judgmental and a bit more, I'm gonna say, cautious and protective of my peace and my energy.
You gotta guard your heart. You can't wear your heart on your sleeve.
No. These days I am. I have to be, because I got you and I got your sisters. So I have to be. So I have to preserve me for you. I'm gonna be all right, man. I'm gonna be all right as long as I got you. As long as I got you guys.
Stop it.
No, for real, man. It's the truth, man. You guys are the future, and that's how I feel about all the kids. Protect the kids, even if they're not yours. You don't fuck with children,
especially here.
Yeah, you don't fuck with children, and you don't fuck with old people. Let the old folks go into their sunset. I don't dig elder abuse. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. I will say that I've had a couple situations where she was bested. But if you do run into her, you can ask her who the real Superhead was, because I've made her cry out to the Lord far more times than I cried out to the Lord. You gonna do it? You better be the best at it.
Hey, but I want to ask you, man. I had no idea that the kid that played Little Ricky in Boys in the Hood, that was your little brother.
That's my brother. That's my blood brother. I'm so proud of him. He actually also did a episode of Family Matters. He was also in Quincy Jones's choir called the Popcorn Kids.
He just dropped the album this year too.
Just dropped the album.
Thanks for listening. That's the name. Donovan Dark. Go stream.
Thanks, Zach. Yeah, it's a great project. He's a brilliant musician and producer. Has been for years. Yeah, but Lil Ricky, that's another iconic movie, man, and project that Boys in the Hood that we all grew up with. Yep. Shout out to Donovan Dark.
How did he get that role?
He went in and read for it. John saw something in him. He saw his talent, his ability, and he casted him in the role. And I remember, man, when John was making that movie, it was such a big deal. The way my mom worked with us, we come from a showbiz family. My dad is an entertainer, and he still is. At 70 plus years, he's still singing and playing. He's worked with Quincy Jones, Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder. That's how I came up in
Rick James too, right?
Rick James, yeah, all those guys. They all were hanging out. That's what it was back then. Diana Ross. I mean, I go on and on with my dad. He discovered BB and CC Winans.
You were talking about Brandy today too.
Yeah. He suggested Brandy did this play. It was a play that actually they really are talking about doing today. It was so far ahead of his time, but she was the lead in the play. My dad, he pushed for that to happen. He's something else. Howard McCrary. Alex knows him. They did a show called Good News together. My dad was doing the music for these shows. It's a trip, growing up in this game. It's truly a blessing because that guidance has given me the foundation to be able to withstand a lot of the pressures and a lot that comes with this game,
Yeah, man. But speaking of Family Matters, how did you get casted in that?
Well, once again, I went in and I read for that role. I had did a movie called Big Shots, which was my first movie, and that was an actual feature film when movies were a big deal. We had to earn going to a movie, and I did a movie called Mississippi Burning, which won an Oscar. And then back to my dad, he was doing different shows, and so my brother, my sister, and myself would be on these shows. Amen was one of the shows. He did music on Amen with Bill Maxwell. Shout out to Uncle Bill, Andre Crouch, and all those guys. Once again, they were a clique. That was one of my dad's very good friends. He's actually my brother Donovan's godfather. Rest in peace, Andre Crouch. I was working, and we got so much to the point where we worked so much between my brother, my sister, myself, which is how my brother Donnie got that audition, Boys in the Hood, to where I had this thing where I'd be like, yo, I don't audition, I book. If I go in to read for this, I'm going to get it. And so they called, and the show was really, it was methodically assembled. Tom Miller, rest in peace, and Bob Boyette, Bill Bickley, and Michael Warren. The names are synonymous with success, and they knew how to put something together. And so they got Reginald Johnson, who was arguably one of the biggest movie stars in the world at the time, because Die Hard was one of the biggest movies in cinema history. Still to this day, I mean,
he wasn't Die Hard.
He was in Die Hard. Yeah,
he was a cop.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they were both cops, but
yeah. right? So, huge box office. Joe Marie, who was the mother on who was the mother on the show, was on the show Perfect Strangers, which is what the show actually spun off from. Thelma Hopkins, who is legendary, Tony Orlando and Don, and I mean, so they put it together. And so I will say that I believe that the body of work that I was assembling at the time had something to do with them calling me in, because I actually read Against Savion Glover, the tap dance kid, who's, I mean, like, still to this day, one of the most talented people that I've ever encountered. His talent is just, it's amazing, man. He's a legend in his own right. And so I'm saying, like, when you have, but then it made me say, wow, if I'm sitting here and I'm reading Against Savion Glover, who am I? Wow, okay, cool. So, you know, you go stand up and you do what you do, but that was God's plan. Because I really, truly believe that one of my main purposes is to continue to inspire families and to make people think about who you starting your family with. Because that's a big, you got to really know who you getting with. You got to know. And people can wear a mask for a long time. There are people out there that are better actors than I am.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but Jaleel White, he was supposed to be on the show for a few episodes, right? But he did such a good job at playing Urkel that they made him a full-time character.
Oh my God, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Jaleel White. I mean, let's be for real. But once again, like I said, the guys who produced that show, they knew what they were doing. They were technicians with this. Every show that they had a quirky character, whether it was Fonzie on Happy Days, or whether it was Lenny and Squiggy on Laverne and Shirley. That's what they did. And so when they wrote that role, and Jaleel White, in his brilliance, under the guidance of his mother, you know, because that's a major part for children. You got to have somebody to bounce things off of, especially as a child. But you got to be able to do it. I mean, and when you look back over Jaleel White's body of work, he was on a show called Charlie and Company. He goes back to the Jeffersons. That dude got some shit you can't teach. And so he came in and he rocked that role.
He did that.
He did that. And I mean, when you go into the moon, you don't care who your pilot is. So I mean, he was designed to be the pilot of this rocket ship that was already chartered to the moon. And then there were other characters like Sean Harrison, who's just brilliant. He played Waldo. He was another one. He wasn't supposed to be on the show, but he came in and he killed it. And they kept the storylines going. So yeah, Jaleel, he did his thing. Shout out to Jaleel White.
Would it be safe to say that he became bigger than the show? Because, I mean, he had toys and everything, man.
Well, I mean, I could say that, but this is the thing about a show like that. You gotta understand that we were on the air at the same time Bill Cosby had a show called The Cosby Show. And that show could have been about a homeless father, okay? Because it was Bill Cosby, it would have went. That's Mr. Cosby, right? Right. So, but the fact that he was a doctor and his wife was a doctor and all their
lawyer,
kids.
actually.
Oh, thank you, son. Thank you. I stand corrected. A lawyer and a doctor. I don't know too many black folks as lawyers and doctors just got kids. I don't know that. So that our show was more designed towards blue collar people. And I say blue collar people because there are times when I'm out, and still to this day, I have fans of a different race that'll come in and be like, hey man, you are Big Brother. What's up, big bro? And I'm like, dang, like, or somebody say, I learned to speak English watching you, which really blows my mind because you got to remember, our people were killed, tortured, brutalized for reading, for learning to speak proper English, or to be able to read or translate, right? I mean, I'm just thinking about the way our school systems are even ran today. How our kids can't even retain a lot of this stuff the way that this is set up. The SATs, it's amazing.
It's not about learning.
It's not about learning. But people come to me and say, hey, I've learned to speak English watching you. I'm talking about good Russian Jews come to me and say this, or hey man, I just want to tell you that, I found your show at a very important time in my life when I was starting to develop some negative thoughts about Black people based on propaganda and what I've learned in this country, and the show changed my mind. So it changed my mind. I just want to tell you, hey Ben, I love you and thank you. But there's also times I've had, guys come up to me who are like, "Hey, big dog," just grab me and hug me. I mean, big cats bigger than me, and I'm like, "Hey, what's happening?" I said, "Man, I just want to tell you, man, thank you, dog." And I know this is real, dog. You know what I'm saying? Man, this show mean everything to me, and crying with tears in their eyes, and I'm like, okay. And he said, "I ain't no punk. I ain't starstruck. I'm just telling you, this is some real shit, dog." I'm like, okay. And he tell me their mama passed away, and it was like the last thing that they would watch with their mama. So I'm not gonna say,
Damn.
Yeah, man. So it's deep, man. So I think everybody on that show served their purpose to serve humanity. So I don't think anybody would have been bigger than anybody, because there's certain things you could do with certain characters that you couldn't do with others, which is why Jalil would play Stefan, which he did so brilliantly. There was a time where I was able to go into the chamber and play Steve Urkel. So yeah, I think that we all work together. It's like so well machine.
Who idea was the Stefan character? That was dope, yo.
Yeah. That was something that they came up with. My TV mom had told him that he should play another character, but he wanted to do other characters because he saw Flip Wilson do it, and he always loved Flip Wilson. The show Charlie and Company was Flip Wilson's show. Shout out to the legendary late great Flip Wilson. And so when we're coming up in this industry, we have a lot of influences. I mean, especially if you can actually touch that influence, and that influence is there with you, like Rick James did for me, Kelsey Grammer does for me. If you're able to be around, Thelma Hopkins, she's a major influence in my life. If you're around that energy, and you could see it like he did with Flip Wilson, you can't help but get it, which is why it's important that my son has these experiences to me.
So the TV mom, she's the one that came up with the idea. I always wonder who came up with the idea. So
pretty much, she had suggested to him, have him do something different, play a different character. Yeah. She had said that to his mom, I believe that happened. They had a conversation.
I heard that her and Jalil had tension on set. Is that true?
Art, let's be for real, man. You can't get Black folks to not argue or fight at a barbecue when everybody is eating. I mean, come on. When have you ever had a family cookout and Uncle so-and-so wasn't mad at Auntie so-and-so, or your cousins and them wasn't tripping, and it's food for everybody? Oh, there's food in here and y'all fighting? What's wrong with you? So I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to speak on that.
But if I'm not mistaken, speaking of your TV mom, Joe Payton, she came out at one point saying that Jalil, he was difficult to work with, right?
I'm not going to say Jalil was difficult. I'm not going to say that. Doing what Jalil did was difficult. I mean, can you imagine wearing some suspenders and some pants hiked up in your nuts and you was 21 years old?
Talking like this.
Talking with the voice and being able to do it after puberty? But then he loved it so much that it was an issue for him when they took the suspenders away, when the show went to CBS, because that was part of it. I mean, he immersed himself in that character. I mean, it's just like Michael Jackson. How can you say, we don't know how many hours Michael Jackson spent practicing that moonwalk to lock it in the way that he did?
That man invented a whole new pair of shoes and a whole stage so that he could do that lean like that.
We don't know what his sacrifice was. And that's the thing about artists. The artist pays the price. So you don't have to pay. You can enjoy what the artist does. You know, that's why I said, can't nobody sit here and talk to me about my journey with my son. And I will say this on this platform. In public, if you see me, I appreciate the support. I appreciate the love. Let's keep it lovely. Let's keep it supportive for one another, because I'll support you too. But my personal business, I'm not going to talk about that in public, because you don't know my story. You don't know that I had to have my son at a Montessori school around the corner from Television City, CBS, where I was filming Young and the Restless, and Christophe St. John, rest in peace, would go get my son when I couldn't leave to go get him because I was on set. You don't know our story. You don't know what the get down was. And it was like that. There was times that I would be stuck and I'd be like, man, I can't go pick him up, you know, or somebody who might have been a part of my staff, you know, couldn't get to him. I had to figure it out. But then we don't talk about that stuff. You know, shout out to Christophe St. John. We've been losing a lot of people. I mean, that's the way of the world.
That was a good point you made, though, man. I never thought about it like that. That he was a grown man playing that Urkel character, you know. So yeah, I know that had to be a little difficult for him to, you know, play that character for so long.
Yeah, we don't know. Y'all don't know. I knew the work he put into being able to fall over and I mean, we're talking about a man who could read 3 books at one time. Get like me. Get on my level. I mean, I'll never forget. There's a story my dad that was mentioned about Prince when he was going through his thing at Warner Brothers, and he had this thing in his contract. My dad worked with Prince. You know, Shaka Khan is my aunt, and so Auntie Shaka and Prince very close. And you know, I was able to hang out at Paisley Park myself and have some great experiences. But Prince had his contract where you couldn't have any small talk with him. You couldn't walk up to him and ask him how his day was, or you'd get fired. Now, there were some people in the organization who were smart enough who knew how to make conversation with him. But at the time, this man had to figure out how to spend, I want to say it was $20 million in a certain amount of time, or the contract would, so he had 3 studios going at one time. And he would drive from one studio to the next. You think that I want to talk to you about, hey man, how's your day going? Motherfucker, I'm trying to figure out how to spend all this money before these people take my masters, and what I'm gonna do. You can't even fathom. I'm trying to figure out how these machines are gonna calibrate, and how all of this I can't. So we don't know what the artist is going through. You know what I mean? Like it's really deep. So I feel like people should have more compassion for an artist. And then people be like, well, they living large. You don't know how I'm living. You don't know what kind of noose this lifestyle has put around my neck. You don't know what my tax situation is. You know what I'm saying? It's deep, man. It's really deep. I feel like it all boils down to compassion for humanity. We have to be compassionate for each other.
And that's something we're losing. Apathy is taught. You know, apathy's in right now.
Damn, that's deep and real.
One thing I do want to ask you, because I never hear nobody ask you this, man. Michelle Thomas, how was she like?
Oh, man. Michelle was an angel. Michelle Thomas was an angel, man. We didn't deserve her. And I think that's why some people come here, they do what they're supposed to do, and they gone. She was a light. She was amazing. We had a really, really great relationship. I loved her dearly. Yeah.
How was she on the show?
Brilliant. Michelle on that show was just brilliant. There's some roles that are written for certain people. Only certain people can do certain things. And I don't think that there was anybody else that could have played that role of Myra. Anybody else. Nobody else could have did that. Nobody else could have did it. She was amazing. So talented.
While y'all was shooting the show, did y'all know about her health issues?
When we were shooting that show, we knew nothing about her health issues, which speaks volumes for her ability and her work ethic as well. She never complained. We never knew anything. In fact, her and I had made plans right before her passing to do something, and it didn't happen. Didn't happen.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I love Michelle Thomas.
Yeah, that was the reason why I asked you about her, because I mean, I barely hear people, speak on her. So, I wanted to shed some light on her.
Thank you. Thank you. That's really big, and I'm big on that. That's why I had to shout out Christophe St. John. He's another pioneer, and he was a dear ally of mine in this industry. And we don't have. I'm gonna say this, man. We as Black people have to do better. We gotta do better. And Black people in show business, we gotta do better. And I'm saying that because there's a whole generation of entertainers coming up behind us. I mean, the way that we connected that through my longtime friend Alex Thomas is a testament to who we are and how we're raised. And that's just how real ones get down. I mean, I can't tell you how many brothers have a SAG card, a Screen Actors Guild card, because I'll be like, give him this line. I would have a line that I'm supposed to say, and I would give it to an extra so they could get a line, so that they could join the union. Like, we just got to do better. And I know a lot of us are used to operating out of scarcity, and these are trying times, and a lot of people don't know where their next meal is coming from. But we got to get on the frequency to where we can understand and know without knowing that provisions are above us. And once you understand that where all your blessings really flow, you're not worried about taking down the next person, taking down the next man. Even some of the stuff I see on social media, it's just disgusting. It's disgusting. I mean, you could have a panel of all races sitting down talking about certain things, and I guarantee you the Black folks are going to treat each other the worst. What? Say it. What?
Don't nobody hate niggas more than niggas.
Son, I probably wouldn't have allowed you to say that, but you were grown. If I knew that that's what you were gonna say.
That's why I hesitated, because you didn't say it earlier. So.
I didn't say it because I'm kind of I like to choose my words so that if anybody says that I said something, I knew what I was saying and I said that. But I want to say this: you don't have to be Black to be a nigga, because it's a whole lot of folks running around here doing some real nigga shit right now. All of that. And once again, back to humanity. We have to do better at being human beings.
Yeah.
You know, I just feel like even when it comes down to social media, if you see something happening, don't film me, help me, because I'd help you. This stuff that went down in Michigan, there are a lot of people who know that this is illegal, who know about Oakland County, who know what these people are doing, who know the track records of these people. And if you in justice to anyone is an injustice.
Injustice to anyone is there's a quote. It's a quote.
And I was about to say it's injustice to everyone everywhere.
Yeah, something like that.
That's what and that's where we are right now. And the reason I use that quote is because we got social media now. Like, we could really, everybody's complaining about these gas prices. Why aren't we figuring out a way to strike? Let's not buy gas. You got to go buy gas from a company, on one company. We'll go buy this gas on Monday, fill up Sunday night. But for Monday and Tuesday, we're not buying gas from these people. Wednesday, we'll buy gas from these people. They're going to fill it. Let's stop shopping at all of the Krogers and all of the Ralphs and go shop at Vallarta and go shop at El Superior.
Let's not eat McDonald's. Let's cook our own food.
Let's figure that out. How about that? Teach your daughter how to boil water. I apologize. I get passionate about certain things.
It's real.
Nah, I mean, the floor is yours, man. Get it off your chest, man. But I do want to ask you this, right, before we get off of Family Matters. Why did the show end?
Why did Family Matters end? All all good things come to an end. They do. They do. Number one, we moved networks, moved to CBS. And at the time, that was a kiss of death. There wasn't any social media. So there were games that were played where they put us on a different time slot on another network. And so people were looking for us on ABC, couldn't keep up with us, when you're used to having a ratings of 15 million, 30 million people in one night tuning into you, and you move to another network and you don't perform that way, it's a wrap. I mean, you look at it now. I mean, they're not giving shows a chance to get 4 episodes. Hey, you done.
It's just Netflix, honestly.
Well, that's
It's
a
just
game.
Netflix.
It's a game changer. Netflix is a
just-
game changer. Shout out to Netflix.
Yeah, I can tell when that show was coming to an end and they ran out of ideals. I remember that one episode where they had Steve Urkel cousin. He came into town and he was a gangster. I don't know, man. I mean, at that point, you can tell that it was a wrap, yo. They was doing anything at that point.
Well, once again, you have to understand that there is an order of things. And so they call it jumping the shark because Happy Days, Fonzie jumped the shark when he was water skiing. And he had the boots on and it was silly, but he jumped the shark. And so, I mean, when you have something on for so long, how much are you going to really be able to write about, and then unfortunately, if you don't have enough I'm just going to say it. If you don't have enough of the experience that you're writing about, it's very difficult to tell stories that will speak to certain audiences. If you would, I'm a believer that when you're telling certain stories, certain people should be in charge of making sure that those stories are developed so that they reach a certain audience. I don't believe, as brilliant of a director that F. Gary Gray is, that he could direct the Schindler's List. I just, I don't think that as brilliant of a director as Steven Spielberg is, he could direct An American Me.
Every part of the body has a different purpose.
So I think that there's a certain authenticity that comes, and once you're dealing with that hierarchy, it becomes. Look, let's be honest. Family Matters wasn't put on the air to depict positive images of Black families. Family Matters was put on the air because Bill Cosby and the Cosby Show was making all kind of money with ad buy dollars for NBC, and ABC needed that money in that slot. And so they was like, yo, we can get in on this. Now, the fact that it spoke a positive image of Black family helped bring in more ad buy dollars, and it was a great byproduct.
I want to ask you, you said that the most important role that you ever played was Ali, right? In a Don King movie?
Absolutely, hands down.
Why you feel like that?
Because, I mean, honestly, the only probably greater role that anybody could have is playing Michael Jordan. Muhammad Ali changed the world.
I got Ali over Jordan.
Just saying. And that's coming from the youth. That's from the baby. Just saying. So when I did that, and then once again, nobody knows what I went through for that role, man. They tried not to give it to me. The director believed in me. I'm 5 shades darker than Muhammad Ali, but I embodied that man. I embodied him. I meant that with everything in me, and I trained like a maniac. That's when I really fell in love with boxing.
You still got it.
Thanks, son. I fell in love with the sport. So I had a martial arts background. And that's back when everything was really, really broke up, back then. If you were a martial artist, you didn't really box, and I fell in love with that sport because I worked so hard. I wanted to have his movements down and I wanted to be authentic. And so I really, really put in work. And unfortunately, it was a black producer that had a high-ranking position at HBO. I won't call your name, but he tried to stop me from getting that role.
What I say earlier?
Yes, son, you're correct. But it was crazy. And the director of the project, John Hirschfeld, he really believed in me, as he did with other projects. He put me on 15 Minutes with Robert De Niro, and did a show called Dr. Vegas. That was Rob Lowe's show that put him back where he needed to be because of John Hirschfeld. Which is why relationships are so important and doing great work is so important. You have to show up. Nothing is given. You don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate. And you always have to make sure that every time you show up, you're there to be great. You can't expect anything. So I don't take it for granted.
That's crazy. So the director, he was the one trying to stop you from getting the role.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And this was crazy. My mom is such a G. My mom is such a G. They had us training. And my mom told me, 'cause she was my manager at the time, arguably the best manager I've had.
How old were you when you got that role?
Gosh, I was married to her, so I was 20. No, I wasn't married to her yet. I was 20, 21. Yeah, 21 years old. 21. Yeah. And my mom said, "You're not training anymore until they close this deal." Because the deal was on the table. We were going back and forth, and they was playing with it, and they was, and it's just so deep to me. How you have great actors like Ving Rhames, who is brilliant in this project, and all of our actors are farmed out and thrown away. I mean, like we don't make it no easier. We forget about our people. We forget about our icons and our legends. But I mean, you could be a 90-year-old right now. If Al Pacino wanted to do Scarface 2, it would get greenlit. He'd be 90 years old, snorting cocaine and shooting people. Coming back. I thought you could kill me. I thought you. Come back.
Didn't he die in Scarface?
That's my point. I snort so much of this. How did he die? Fuck you. Fuck you. He come back. Say hello. Thought you killed me. Come back. And they make the movie.
How was it like being on set for that movie?
For the Don King story?
Yeah.
Oh, it was amazing. It was awesome. Yeah, it was amazing. We had a great time. We had to choreograph all of that stuff. It was epic, man. That was a watershed film for HBO. That was a watershed film.
Yeah, shout out to your mom for getting that deal done before you put all that work in, man.
Yeah, she wasn't playing. She said it, and I rock with it. I was like, okay. You can't lose that kind of time when you're choreographing those kind of scenes. You want to be in shape, obviously, So.
No, but you gotta live the life that you want to live.
That part.
Facts. But why was the director so adamant about you not getting the role? What was his reason?
Well, I'm gonna say this now, and I would have never said this years ago. Sitcoms for Black actors could be the kiss of death. Unfortunately, I haven't experienced that because the audience will hold you in that light and that regard for the rest of your life. And so I lost a lot of roles that could have changed my life because of that show.
Because you was just Eddie Winslow.
Because I was Eddie Winslow. People still call me Eddie Winslow to this day. It made such an impact, which is amazing and it's awesome. And I love you all. But
that's not Eddie Winslow. That's Darius McCrary.
Thank you, son. That's coming from my son. You know what I'm saying? So that in his mind, he couldn't see me as Muhammad Ali because he, as an executive, was like, this is Eddie Winslow. I can go find somebody that can play, But for real, honestly, they had a hard time finding anybody that could really do that. Like I really meant that. Because you understand the way I approach a role is that's gonna be on film forever. That's there. And it's not like I'm playing Joe Blow from the liquor store. That's the greatest of all time. Matter of fact, I'll never forget when I met him the first time, his daughters, and made sure that I met him. He was so amazing. That was one of the first and only times that I felt like I was in the presence of God on earth when I met that man. It was amazing. But they said, you gotta do the impression, do him. And he said, do it, do me, right? I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? He'll put me on the spot. And I just went into it. I started doing it. I was like, I'm fast, man. I'm so fast. I'm so quick. I make medicine sick, man. I'm cold-blooded, man. I'm a bad man. I just started talking with him, and he was like, he looked at me. He just started getting excited. He said, it was like it was tried, man. It was real. It was real to him. You know?
If I'm not mistaken, you played James Brown too, right?
I played. Now that was crazy. That was crazy. Once again, shout out to Robbie Reed. That was another time where I was like, I'm a foot taller than him. I don't know. I can't. She was like, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be brilliant. That was one of those roles that I almost tried to back out of because I was like, I can't do this. And man, when I put that pain, you got to have the pain. And I put that pain on. And I went in the wardrobe and I said, yeah, he would wear this. Yeah. And put him in a scarf. Put a scarf around my neck. It just came to life. And then I even transformed and I started walking a certain way to where I wasn't as tall. And it was crazy, man. That was another spiritual experience. And then I actually had called George Clinton. Shout out, another one of my mentors. I love you, G Daddy. I called George, and I was talking to George about some of his experience because they wrote that in the story, and I got that experience, and we had talked about it, and I was able to implement that into what I was doing, and it made it real for me, you know. I met the Godfather of Soul through my dad. And I'll never forget what I was doing. What I was doing was I was portraying who I met. Yeah, it was crazy. My dad, you know, a lot of times we grew up on these back lots, and so my dad was we were working on Universal. I was on another stage. He was on another stage, and he called. We were supposed to meet for lunch, and so he told me I had a surprise. My dad's so smooth. He's so cool. I wish the guy I could be as smooth as cool as my dad. The ladies still talk about my dad to this day. He called me. He said, "Hey, son, you gotta get over here. Come on, you gotta get over here now." I said, "Okay, Dad. I said, I'm on my way." I said, "I'm coming." He said, "No, get over here now." I said, "Okay." So I get over to the stage, and this motorcade outside, you know, SUVs, and there's a van and all these black cars out front, and they happened to open the stage door right at the time I was getting there, and it was smoky, and so my dad came through the smoke, and he said, "Come on, son, come on." He grabbed my hand, and then I saw this wall of people, this entourage, and it's like they moved out the way, and James Brown just slid through. He said, "Ha! I'm saying, man. Hey, what? Your daddy, everybody. I love your daddy. Your daddy, what is cold and what does daddy play? It's cold. I love it. I'm proud of you. You're good. Yeah, be good. And you're gonna be good. And take out your daddy. Picture." And they handed him a picture. They slapped it in his hand. He signed it to Darius. "I feel good. Ha! I love you. I love your daddy. There you go. Ha! Yeah. Ha! Come on." And I was standing there with this picture in my hand, like, what the just happened? And he moved off, and the wall of people closed, and he was gone. And my dad was like, looked at me as he saw me looking off into the distance, and he said, "Yeah, son, it's the Godfather of Soul." Oh man, it was just a magic that man had, man. You understand why people like him and Muhammad Ali and Michael Jackson is another one, being around. You understand why they're so great, and why they should be revered for what they do. Because like I said, that sacrifice, man, it's a lot of work, man. A lot of work.
People just see the result. They don't see, like, the thing about art, like, especially like performing, fighting, those sort of things. It's not just when it happens, the event is everything that leads up to that. All the work that you put in before that. That's what makes the performance. That's what makes the fight. And people don't realize that because they're not in it.
And if they were in it, could they do it?
They wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Rick James, he went off on you before, right?
Yeah, he did, man. Rick was a real one, man. I had gotten into some trouble. I basically ended up in a lawsuit because I was attacked by some people, and I defended myself. And it was self-defense. And so when he heard about it, he was like, you really up this time. He was like, this shit's gonna cost you a bunch of money. He was like, to get out of. I said, well, I was defending myself. He said, you're missing the whole thing. And I was like, what do you mean? I said, if somebody's attacking, he said, you shouldn't have been there. You shouldn't have been there. You know better than this shit. You know better. He was getting on me because he was saying that being who I am, I can't put myself in them situations. I can't be around everybody. I can't allow everybody in my space. And that really, really spoke volumes to me.
That don't apply just if you're famous too.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And it was just so real to me. He was like, this is gonna cost you. Now, luckily, it didn't cost me like he said it was gonna cost me. He was like, yeah. I mean, he really had me scared at that point. But I thought about it. I was like, dude, like, why was I in that space? Why did I allow those people to run that game? Now, later they found out that these people who tried to sue me were going from different locations, starting trouble with people to sue the establishment for their insurance. I mean, and once again, back to the law. The law had this information, and they still put me on probation for a year. I mean, people
the law almost never reflects morality.
Yo, that's just crazy to me that they knew that these people were doing that, and they still, but once again, when the people saw me, they were like, oh, we got a ringer. I mean, we know this guy, we know he's going to go through.
Cha-ching.
Yeah, and I'll never forget, it was crazy. Sean Harris, who plays Waldo, he tells the story of how the detectives were looking for me. It was hilarious. They kept trying to find me. They was trying to find him to find me. Oh man, but Rick let me have it. He was like, you this is a problem. This is a problem. He was real mad, and he used to tell me about shit. That's the one thing about it. He would let me have it if I was messing up or if I was out of pocket. He let me have it. If it was a chick around me that wasn't no good for me, he and I'm like, you really fucking up when Rick James or Charlie Sheen tells you. Yeah, with Rick James.
You really know how to pick them.
Oh my God. Oh man, I'll never forget.
Was he giving you advice from prison? I'm just curious. Did Charlie Sheen call you from the crack house?
The crack house? You mean his house?
He never did any drugs around you, son.
No, I know.
I made sure of that.
So you got into a fight with somebody?
Yeah, what happened was basically they would come in and they would find a mark and they would start something, and then you if you finish it. So they had a young lady, and the young lady would come in and she would play the damsel in distress. And what she did to me was she actually grabbed me by my member. And and I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I mean, what do you do with that, And then I said, hey, don't do that. That's not cool, baby. You want a drink? You cool? What's going on? And so she just started acting crazy. She was like, oh, what? She started tripping. And so me being me, she did it again. I said, hey, I'm gonna ask you not to do that. And then she went to do it the third time, and I stopped her and I grabbed her titty. And I said, do you like it? And she's like, oh my God. And she's like, hey, girl. I guess she liked that. She was like, and so that's when they came in and it felt so good. I grabbed the other one. And and then the guys came in like they were rescuing her. And it was a mess. It was bad for them because they picked the wrong guy. I mean, I was just trying to defend myself. I don't know. Like, stop. What are you doing? Why is this happening? I'm fearing for my life. Quit. Stop, please. Don't do that. It's a bad idea. Stop. Quit. It's one of those things. Help! Please.
As it happens.
You met Pac?
You know what? I didn't know Pac. I hung out with Pac a couple of times. Yeah, but we didn't really it wasn't like my man's, but we hung out. But we definitely could have been partners. I'm not gonna lie. I was around that whole death row thing because Quick is my brother. Shout out to DJ Quick. Man, Quick and G1, and Quick produced a lot of stuff over there at death row. Even though I ain't no punk, I was scared of that death row stuff. Because I mean, like I knew a lot of stuff that was happening, and you'd hear about certain stuff. And I'm heavy into music, and I was really heavy into music at that time. So we knew that it was always a possibility that all you had to do was be in the vicinity.
Look what happened to Pac.
We knew it was always a possibility. So I never wanted to, because Danny Boy and I are really tight. I'm actually godfather to his daughter. I love you, Ashley. But yeah, man, we would hang out. There was this club called The Gate, and I'll never forget. It was really a big deal. I don't know what it's called now, but man, we were in there popping bottles and chilling back there with no social media, and it was just, I mean, he just had a weapon. This is right when he got with Suge, and Suge was kicking him down the bread, and you could really just see it, and it was really one of my favorite lines from him. He says in All Eyes on Me, he says, keep your mind on your meal ticket, get your money, motherfucker, get rich and we'll kick it. All eyes on me, and he meant that. I mean, we was both flowing. We had it, but keep your mind on your meal ticket. Get your money. Let's get rich and we'll kick it. He meant that. I said the television. The radio version the second time. for all of you out there. but that's what it was. And every time I got around him, that's what it was. I had mine, he had his, and it was cool.
You knew Malcolm-Jamal Warner, right?
Oh, man. Man. We talked a couple days before he took that trip. And I'm going to say this to you all that watch this. Check on your strong friends. Check on your loved ones. Don't be too busy.
You never know what they're going through.
You never know what they're going through. You never know what's happening. You never know what's going to be the last time that you're going to talk to somebody. And I hate living with that because I've had it happen so many times to me. Yeah, Malcolm and I, you know, this industry is such a trip. Malcolm, we were trying to develop something for he and I to do together because we wanted to give that to you all. And they didn't support it. We had to figure it out, you know, and sometimes, you know, you have to force it and you have to figure it out yourself. You got to do it yourself, which is why I respect all independent filmmakers and directors who are getting it done. Even if it's not up to a certain standard or up to a certain par, you're getting it done. And if you stay in it and you continue to do it, the more you do it, the longer you do it, the better at it you'll become. So shout out to you all for getting it done. We don't need permission anymore. We got to just do it because I don't have too many regrets in life because I really do live for no regret. But one of my regrets is that Malcolm and I were never able to work together to give you guys something with us being who you say that we are to the culture. That would have just been amazing. But I think that might have been too much that might have been too much.
Yeah, the way he passed away was tragic, man. Real tragic. And you said that both of y'all spoke days before he passed away.
Yeah. Yeah. He hit me to tell me what an amazing job I did as Ali because he was studying a role that he was reading for. We just, you know, shoot the shit like that. You know, I was telling him, and I would tell him, you know, I wished that I was as dedicated to the craft as he was, because you know I always feel like I can be better, and sometimes I don't feel like I'm as dedicated to it because it's just changed so much. And then there's also an organic process that I like to allow myself to go through to really be it. And he was like, "Nah, bro." He was like, "Nah, I ain't gonna let you get away with that." You know, but we called each other twin. That's
Y'all look like it.
Yeah, that's what we were. We called each other. What up, twin? What up, twin? That's before it was a thing. That's what we did.
I want to ask you about Jamie Foxworth. Why did she leave the show so early? And do you still talk to her?
You said 30 minutes ago, no more Family Matters questions, goddammit. No, I'm kidding. I'm just messing with. I love Jamie Foxworth very much. It's just a point of contention for me because, man, and you know, I was talking about this with Kelly and Telma, and it's just a trip, man, how none of us could do anything to save her. Here we are with this show. None of us could do anything to save her. And part of the reason was because of her mother. And you know, it's really important if you're gonna have your kids in show business, you know, and I'm not saying this to attack her mom in any way or to be negative, you know. God bless you, Gwen. You know, if you see this, God bless you. You know, she had daughters in show business, all of them. They had a singing group. The oldest sister was on a show called Bustin' Loose. She had a deal with Columbia Records. Tyron Perry, amazing talent, beautiful. Oh my God, beautiful. But you know, you just got to be smart about it. Like I said, my mama was smart how she moved. You know, and she got it. My mama got everything she wanted. I mean, there was the part of the reason why they had Waldo on the show is because my mom had low key kind of got at the producers about Eddie Winslow not being dumb. You know, and so they brought in Waldo and they were able to write certain jokes for Sean where he carried that burden because my mom didn't want to portray a young dumb black because she knew that was gonna resonate with an audience, and now you perpetuate that stereotype. You know, and they weren't thinking like that. The writers weren't thinking like that. You know, my first movie, Big Shots. You know, there were certain lines that she was not allowing me to say. You know, and she got what she wanted, but it wasn't what she did, it was how she did it. And Jamie's mom didn't use that same tack, I believe. And so we came back from a hiatus, and Jamie wasn't there. And none of us could save her, no matter what. There's nothing we could have did.
Yeah, I remember when she came out with that video, man. I mean, me seeing that as a kid, because I was a real big fan of Family Matters, man. That was heartbreaking to see, man. But yeah, hopefully she in good spirits, you know.
Well, let's just say this, man. There's a lot that comes with being a child star.
Most of them don't make it.
Look, we're sitting here talking to you. My career has spanned 40 years, man. Do you know how blessed I am and I feel to be able to say that? Now, I will take credit for showing up and doing the work and having the perseverance and the dog in me, no matter what, to continue going. But it's also by design. And I have to give credit to my family for being that support system and that constant motivating force. I mean, I look at who watching me, and ain't no way in the world I'm finna quit. I don't care what you bring, So and everybody don't have that, But 4 decades, man, I got friends who I mean, we got friends, Al. You think about it, they got into it, they're not here no more. We got a lot of friends we've lost along the way. I mean, you hear about drug overdoses, and I mean, man, it's deep.
Crash outs galore.
It's deep.
Before we head out, most importantly, I gotta ask both of y'all, let the people know what y'all got popping, man, and where they can find y'all and everything, man.
My Instagram is Z_Alanoli 777. You can find me on TikTok at Goku Lover 488.
Yeah. And Zach is amazing. He's doing some great stuff on the influencer tip. And I'm so proud of my son. His knowledge and his perspective and how he articulately communicates it. I feel like these are the type of young leaders that our youth, like we need this. We really need this because one of my favorite quotes was a quote from a book called The Prophet, written by Khalil Gibran, and it was said that our children live in the house of tomorrow, which we can't visit even in our dreams. I don't know how to reach. I don't know how to reach the youth. So what I'm working on doing is storytelling, creating a narrative, being able to encourage the youth, working on youth programs. We have nonprofits. Philosophy is one of them. Working with Phil Paulina. Shout out to Phil Paulina. Teaching boxing. Zab Judah. Shout out to Zab Jab. Champ. We're working on some things to really encourage the youth to be able to find their path early on. So we got some cool things happening. I'm Dr. DM because I am a doctor. I have my doctorate. Yes. And Darius McCrary on all platforms. So I know Facebook is a little bit older for you young people, but I like
Facebook,
the Book of Faces. Yeah, Dr. DM. And pull up with Darius on YouTube. Yeah, where I'm a traditional legend. That's what they tell me. Who says that to somebody?
That's worse. That's worse than getting called old.
I'm like, dude.
I hear traditional. I think of like ancient rites.
So did I.